All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to dig right in here because I want to get the most out of this hour that we have with Troy. We are really blessed to be having you here. I'm so grateful. I give you a little bit of an overview, a little bit of an introduction on what we're going to be doing here on this call. So Troy, he is the executive coach of Streamline Meditation. And during this next hour, we're going to learn what I believe to be the simplest yet most powerful form of meditation, so that you can really achieve those profound levels of mental stillness and peace and just that, calmness that we all really are desiring. And this process, what I have found, it brings the body back into a unique state of balance that releases that stress and anxiety from the entire system. I know that's what I've experienced, and very thankfully and luckily, Troy is also going to guide us in a meditation and a little through a process of that, so that we can start to understand this and implement it ourselves. So first off, the reason that I know Troy is that a friend of mine invited me to this workshop on meditation. I was like, it was on Zoom, and I was really not sure what to expect. And hey, excited. Okay, cool. See some comments in there. Really excited to get on this. She was ramping it up about how wonderful it was. It's like, okay, I want to do it. I want to see. And then lo and behold, it was Troy that was doing this workshop on Streamline Meditation. Never heard of it. And I had really struggled with meditation prior to that. I know that a lot of people can relate. You're trying to quiet your mind and there's all these thoughts coming in. You're trying to silence them. You're trying to focus on your breathing. Maybe you've tried mantras. Maybe you use I know I had that band thing you put on your head. I can't even remember what it's called, where you focus on using music, all these different kinds of, there's so many methods out there. And when I was guided through this with Troy, I had the first experience where I felt that stillness, where I felt the calm, and where I felt just deeply still. And I don't know how else to explain it other than that. So Troy, I want to bring you on here. And first off, would love to know a little bit, if you could share a little bit more about yourself and your journey with meditation, how it started and how you got involved with Streamline.
Thanks, Megan. I got involved in Streamline purely to manage stress. So that was my initial reason for getting into Streamline. But I found a lot more some really good benefits out of it. So obviously I got hooked on it, and I've been meditating for well over 12 years now this way. So, and I've gone on to begin to teach people, because I just believe it's something that should be out there for everybody to tap into. It is a very powerful way to meditate, and as Megan said, a simpler way, like no mantra, no focus point, no focus on the breath. We're not guiding you into meditation when we do this. So it's a very direct, it's what we call a naturally occurring meditation. So through the naturally occurring meditation, you simply allow your own meditative state to come through. So that's probably the biggest difference between this form of meditation and a technique of meditation, so to speak, which I would assume a lot of you have experienced in the past or even might practice now.
For sure. And so I've heard a little bit of the story of how Streamline originated. I know about Malcolm and everything. Could you just share a little bit about that?
Yeah, Malcolm actually started off in the TM movement, Transcendental Meditation. So he spent 10 years in TM, and he worked with the Maharishi. So that's who he actually learnt off and trained under the Maharishi in Switzerland for 12 months, and then went back for other courses and all that sort of thing. So that's where Malcolm began. But after about 10 years, he found that the mantra could be limiting. It wasn't allowing to experience that full depth of meditation. So through that experience of sort of spending time with the Maharishi, he obviously got a lot of knowledge and learnt a lot off the Maharishi, but then moved on to see meditation in this more simplistic form, in a way of not using a technique of meditation. So he's also gone and met a lot of influential people in and around the meditation field in India and studied it for quite a number of years. He also runs a fashion import business, so he's a business person as well. And through that, it allowed him to travel to India quite a bit and spend a lot of time with these people and read a lot of books on meditation. So he's been meditating for about 50 years now, and he has a very deep knowledge and understanding of meditation, and he brings that to Streamline. Obviously, the way we teach now is vastly different to the way I was taught. We're more, pardon the pun, streamlined again. Like it's even more direct, and doing it through Zoom. We catch up on a regular basis and do daily live meditations that Malcolm and myself are on. So you get that live interaction, and you're able to download a lot of that knowledge off myself and Malcolm and get a really deep understanding of meditation.
So my question is, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, everybody that is on this call, the people that follow me on social media, are entrepreneurs. They're busy. There's a bazillion things to get done. And sometimes this time to just sit and be still is the last thing on our minds of getting that done. So can you speak a little bit to why should we even be meditating? Like what is the value in that? Why should we do it? Is it important? Most people here, like, I want to make more money, I want to get free, I want to have more success. What does meditation have to do with that? And what are the benefits of practicing Streamline?
Well, I'm going to start by saying the major benefit, without a doubt, is learning to work from the inside out. So once you begin to work from the inside out, you no longer allow the external world to govern the way you think, feel, and act. And if I can say that that's the greatest benefit that I've got out of it is over the years watching how I've changed, where I don't allow that external world to stress me, to create anxiety in any way, to give me that little gap between what's going on in the external world to the way I respond to it. There's more of a response to what's going on. You function from the inside out. That is without a doubt the greatest benefit. Obviously, you have stress release, you have all those sort of things going on. They're the physical benefits that you get out of it. But overall, these benefits are cumulative. So the more you meditate, the more regular you meditate, and our recommendation is twice a day for 20 minutes. You accumulate these benefits. You accumulate the deep-seated stress release allows the nervous system to refine to a point that you can manage stress in a whole new way. You get into your day, you have this creative thinking because you're more in tune on a deeper level of consciousness. So you're more coming from the source of thought rather than being on that conscious level of thinking, which allows you to be more creative. It allows you to be more productive. And I know people have always said they don't have time to meditate,
right?
Because I'm trying to run a business, or I've got work, I've got kids, I've got family life, and all this is going on. But what I can say is meditation creates time. The quieter you are, the stiller you are within, the more that will then project into your daily life, and it creates time, and you find you're more productive then. Once you're more productive, you have more time. And the best thing with that is you can usually have more time for your family. So they're great benefits, and ultimately that's what people want. They want to be happy, number one, and stress release and releasing deep accumulated stress off the nervous system is so important towards our happiness, because stress is actually a past event. It's something that's in the future, and it's not something that's really here and now. We experience stress now because of an event that's in the past that's embedded on the nervous system. So that stress causes us to respond or react to a similar event that we're experiencing that caused that stress. So that's what we feel at that point. We feel stress from it. But if we're able to reverse that through deep meditation and refine the nervous system and cast off those deep accumulated stresses and tensions that sit within the nervous system, it allows us to respond to stress in a whole new way. And we find we're not being stressed. Because we don't have that stress, we don't then project anxiety of the future, the what if factor. And this is how we actually come back to being more present, more present in the moment. So, yeah.
For me, what I love to study and read and I'm fascinated with is the law of vibration, the law of attraction, that, you know, what we feel, how we use our emotions to create our reality. And could you speak a little bit into how meditation affects your vibration? Because at least I think I've talked about it with this group here, so I think they're familiar. But as we raise our vibration to joy, happiness, peace, that's where abundance is. And then those things that we desire, those feelings that we desire, reside in those higher vibration spaces. So how does meditation elevate vibration, or does it?
It certainly does. It elevates it. What we have is, we have that source of energy, and it's called many different things: Kundalini, Shakti, you know, all these sort of names it has, but it's really your life force energy that flows to and through us. And when that flows to and through us, we're sending it out. The biggest thing that meditation does is the moment that we close our eyes and we turn our awareness within, and meditation takes place within the thought stream, and we're allowing our mind to transcend. Mind's movement, body's a manifestation of the movement. So the mind leads into that more quieter, still, rested place. We're no longer expressing that energy out. Actually turning it back in on ourselves, and then it's what they call it, you know, your Kundalini energy begins to rise within your nervous system. So it rises up. So the collective area of bringing that energy back within and allowing it to rise up to the higher centers, which automatically begins to raise your vibration. And because you're casting off that deep accumulated stress, which I might add is the main experience that you will have at the beginning of this meditation. And when I say the beginning, like when you first begin to practice it, not the beginning of your meditation, but when you first begin to practice it, you're throwing off deep accumulated stress that is actually affecting your emotional state, dampening your vibrational levels. So by throwing that off, returning that energy that's always going out back in, and allowing it to rise up in the nervous system is how that vibrational state begins to rise.
That's amazing. I remember the first meditation that I did with you, and I had the base of my head was just throbbing and aching. I was like, what is going on? And you explained about, you know, that release of stress and that's what that was. And I'd never experienced that before through meditation in any sort of way. It was very eye-opening for me, to say the least. What I want to invite everybody to as well, I've got people live on Facebook, and I also have everybody here on Zoom. If you guys have questions, please type them in the chat, either on Zoom or here on Facebook, and I'll make sure I pass those on to Troy to answer as well. But what I would really love to do, because Troy teaches workshops all the time, he's been so generous to give us his time as well here for our community, is to really hand things over to you, Troy, to take us through some of this process, some of the teaching, and even some of the guided meditations like that I remember you starting me with, that helped me understand what is that space between thought, you know, that. And I know that so many of us, because this is where I was, got so frustrated with trying to stop thought because it didn't work. And then you get really discouraged and you give up on meditation. And I hear that from a lot of people. So I would love to just kind of give you the floor to take us through the next, say, I'm going to say like half hour-ish, and then we can leave some time for question at the end.
Sounds good. All right. Well, number one thing that just don't try and think ahead with this, everyone. Like we're just going to do a couple of little exercises, And the first one's just going to be, all I want you to do is activate thought. So when we do close our eyes and do this, it's only going to be a 30-second exercise. And you're just going to begin by recreating an event from this morning. You know, it might have been having a cup of coffee, might have been having breakfast, whatever it is for you guys, it's your thoughts. And what you're doing is you're just activating the thought process. That's all. And I just want you to recreate the event, you know, and begin to watch it in pictures. And we're only going to do it for 30 seconds. I'll let you know when to open your eyes and bring yourselves back into the room. But when we do these exercises, I just want you to sit up, like sit in a chair, comfortable with back support, and just sit upright. There's no need to be sitting cross-legged or anything like that. If you feel comfortable sitting cross-legged, that's fine. But the main thing is we're comfortable. Whenever we meditate, whenever we do these exercises, and this is just an exercise that we're doing at the moment, we've got to be comfortable. That's all, because we don't want our awareness being drawn to somewhere that's uncomfortable. So as long as you're comfortable, we're just going to begin. When we close our eyes, we're just going to begin by recreating that event from this morning. So if everyone's ready, let's begin by doing that. So just close your eyes and start to recreate the event from this morning. And when you're ready, just open your eyes, bring yourselves back into the room. So I'm going to ask Megan, how was that for you?
It's I can see it clearly, and the process, first getting up, getting out of bed, walking downstairs, and just going through my mind, reliving what I did this morning.
Beautiful, beautiful. The main reason for this exercise, guys, is what we're doing. So when we close our eyes and we start to recreate that event from this morning, and it's a memory for you guys, a memory for all of us, whatever we did this morning. Those pictures that you're seeing of you having breakfast or having a cup of coffee, whatever it was for you, it might have even been just driving in the car. Those pictures, when we close our eyes, we're not viewing those pictures with these eyes. These eyes are for the external world. These eyes are what, you know, our eyes are what grab the information and take information in from the external world. So when we meditate, we close our eyes and that shuts off the external world. But those pictures being produced are a memory. So they're actually being produced on the mind's eye. So it's actually where we see it, and it's within the thought stream. So within that thought stream is where meditation takes place. Meditation is not external from your thought stream. It takes place within the thought stream. So we're not, you know, when we use a set of headphones and we're listening to an external device, a guided meditation, our awareness begins to go without because we're listening. So we're using one of our sensory factors to listen. So our awareness is actually external from us. What we're doing when we meditate is actually we want to bring our awareness within, because it's taking place within that thought stream. I'm not sure if there's any questions at this point.
From Meredith, I have tried it before. I'm assuming she's saying she's tried meditation, but can't stay focused. Any advice for a newbie? 20 minutes a day seems very long.
Yeah, I would understand that it would seem long, and the reason why is because of the word focus. In today's world, a lot of meditations work on two things: a focus technique, and that's what it is, a focus technique, or we're trying to use a relaxation technique. But what we actually want to do in meditation is we just simply want to place our awareness in the right place, because this is something that everybody can already do. We can transcend. The mind can already transcend. We've just got to be shown how to do that. And when we focus, we're actually narrowing down our mind's capability, because we all know that when we focus, like the idea is to focus on something to get the job done. Awareness is far more, expansive than that. We're opening up to full awareness. So in meditation, we don't actually want to focus, because when we focus on something, it holds us in that conscious level of thinking. And that's why it becomes difficult, because the mind naturally wants to transcend back to pure consciousness. But when we focus on something, we actually stop that from happening. So that is why that would be difficult. So that's understandable by using a focus technique. Yes, it's not going to allow you to sit there for 20 minutes and just enjoy your meditation.
Right. And I have a couple of other questions, which maybe would be better after the next part, once people experience Streamline for a little bit, and then we'll come back to those.
Sounds good. All right, well, we can roll into the 2-minute exercise now. 2-minute exercise, it's all I want you to do is start to recreate the event from this morning again. Nothing changes. So when we do close our eyes, we're just going to start to recreate that event. So it's your event. It's not anybody else's. It's just whatever you pictured earlier on when we did the 30-second. 30 seconds in, I'm just going to say, just relax, stop trying to remember, and just be aware and watch what's there now. Now, at that point, I just want you to be aware of what happens at that point. I don't want you to judge it. I don't want you to try and analyze it in any way. I just want you to capture that moment. So it's just an awareness at that point when I say just relax, stop trying to remember, and just be aware and watch what's there now. It may just go blank. There might be just a dark blankness there. There might be colours. There might be light. That's what I want you to capture. I just want you to be aware of that, gently aware of it. And other thoughts may kick in and out over the next minute and a half, and that's fine. We're not concerned by them. But I just want you to capture that point when we just relax and stop trying to remember. So if everyone's ready, I'll keep an eye on the time, and rest assured, I'm not sitting here watching anybody meditate or anything like that. I'll have my eyes closed and be doing the same thing at the same time. So just relax into it. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. I just want you to become aware of what happens at that point. That's all. So when everyone's ready, let's just gently close our eyes and start to recreate the event from this morning. Now, just relax, stop trying to remember, just be aware and watch what's there now. When you're ready, just take your time. Slowly open your eyes, bring yourselves back into the room. And you go, Megan.
I find when I focus on something and then when you say to stop focus, that's the easiest way for me to have no thoughts. And then they come in again, and I'm thinking different things. And but I get that gap where there's no thought. And if anybody else on the call would like to share their experience as well, you're more than welcome. On Facebook, you can type it and I can share it with the group.
So I actually, I do try and meditate every single day, but I think what you just taught us to do made me fall into like a completely different space than I've ever felt, like very quickly, which was really cool. It's like a whole new space in the middle of your mind that I couldn't really get to before. I was more so focusing on like not thinking about things. So I feel like that happened way quicker, but it almost made me feel like nauseous, if that makes sense. Like it's a weird little space.
It made you feel nauseous?
Yeah, a little bit. It's like a weird space that you first went into.
That's actually pretty good. When you feel nauseous, you're beginning to release stress. People think meditation's, all about, relaxing and all that, which it is, because the mind will relax and then the body will follow. But when the body follows, it can only begin to release stress and tension off the nervous system. And I know one of my first experiences in meditation was releasing deep accumulated stress. It was in a 20-minute meditation. And yes, I felt nauseous.
Crazy.
And feel that nauseousness through releasing stress. So for you to start to experience that in that little 2-minute exercise is pretty cool. Can I just ask you a question on that?
Yep.
At point, what did you become aware of when you just stopped trying to remember?
I just felt like my thoughts went into like the middle of like this black hole in the middle of my head. I don't know how to describe it. Like it wasn't so much anything happening at the front of my brain. It was kind of like they dropped down and then that's when I could like feel the nausea kind of. It's really weird. It's hard to explain. I've never felt that before, to be honest.
That's cool. So it had a blankness to it.
Totally, yeah. Like a little bit out of body.
Yeah, cool. I don't know what everyone's experiences was on the call, and we might be able to look into some of them, but that blankness is what we call a gap between thought. And it's actually it's on the mind's eye, so it becomes blank. It's blank on the mind's eye. And in today's world, most people are very aware of thought, and very aware of the constant flow of thought. Not aware of that gap. And that little blank space that most of you may have experienced on here. Now, it could have been coloured, like you could have had some colours to it, might have been dark, might have been light. That's okay. It is what it is for you. We're never trying to make it something that it's not. That gap between thought is just what it presents as at that point in time. So, because what we've got to understand is meditation does take place within the thought stream. So we're not trying to stop thought. We're just allowing ourselves to transcend to a quieter level of the thinking process. If we look at meditation and understand the law of polarity, and the law of polarity is simply the law of opposites. So that universal law of polarity states that everything must have an equal and exact opposite. So we can't have an up without a down, a back without a front, inside without an out. We cannot have a busy, conscious level thinking mind without equally having a still, quiet, rested mind. That quiet mind that you all seek is already there. We don't have to try and create it. We just need to allow our own state of meditation to come through. And for you to have that experience, Melissa, where you've found straight away, you've started to transcend away from that conscious level of thinking, is how quick it can happen.
Yeah, it was really cool. Thank you.
It doesn't take years. So
I had I had Lisa say that she felt she was spinning around the room, and also Brenda floating into air was another one. And a few people here in the chat just saying that blankness is very much what they felt as well, at the back at the center of the brain. So I think that's pretty cool.
No, it is cool, and that's a 2-minute exercise. Like, as I said, this has a very accumulative effect, and it is meditation in its original form. It is that meditation that will give you access to pure consciousness from the get-go. Yes, there is a process to it where you cast off stress, and then you can. I love the way the old Maharishi used to say it. You know, you step outside and you tend to your garden, the outer world, and then you retreat. When you meditate, you retreat back in front of the fire and the warmth of the living room. And you step outside and tend to the garden, and you retreat back in and sit in front of the fire and the warmth of the living room. Now, he also then goes on to say, and when you get very clever, you can sit in front of the fire and the warmth of the living room and tend to your garden. Living from the inside out. That's coming from the inside out. You can expand this into your daily life with that abundance of time, which was where we started the conversation. Time within your day, abundance, raising your vibrations, all these sort of things. You've got to get a good understanding of it, and then you become a light within yourself. And that's what we're about at Streamline. We like to teach you guys that directness, so then you become a light within yourself, and you're not sitting there trying to focus on something that most times isn't enjoyable. You know, we want meditation to be enjoyable for people.
I love what Melissa said, that she feels that she just fell in love more with it. That's the thing. This is supposed to be enjoyable. Meditation, that's how I took it at before, was like, I need to force myself. I need to make this happen. I have to control my mind. And it was so much effort, and Streamline was more, I liked it. I looked forward to meditation instead of dreading it.
Completely agree.
Yeah. I got some more questions for you, Troy. So is guided meditation not something you should do, since the awareness is outside of us?
Guided meditation, like everything has its, there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't benefit you, but certain things will benefit you. But I find a lot of guided meditations are a relaxation technique. That's been my experience of guided meditations. To get that directness of transcendence, we do need to turn our awareness within. So I'll never say that it's not going to help you, it's not going to benefit you. But if you want that more direct experience to pure consciousness and experience those full depth of meditation that are available to us all from the start. As I said, we don't need to do 20 years of meditation to try and figure out that still state. It's already there, it already exists. But yes, when we're turning our awareness external from us and using our sensory factors, for the external world, which is hearing is, it's not going to allow you to fully transcend. It's not going to allow you to go back to that quiet place. It might be relaxating, you might feel rested from it, but it's not going to give you that deep experience of meditation.
And another question is, how is Streamlined meditation different from other forms? I think by now you've kind of answered that, but you might want to just sum that up again as well.
It is different in the way of, it's not a technique, like we don't use techniques, but it's also a naturally occurring meditation. So we're actually allowing that state of meditation that's already there, it's already accessible to us, to become us, to become more of who we are, not that conscious level, busy level that most people are functioning from today. We actually want our own meditative state to be at the forefront of who we are. And from there, we can then function a lot better in the day. We can be more productive, we can be more creative, we can do all these things, because it is the inner that is starting to, that really governs the outer. So if our inner is stressed, we're going to create stressful events for ourselves. Where if our inner is still and poised, then we can really create the life that we want.
Exactly. Are you able, do we have time for you to take us a little deeper?
Yeah, well, we can do a 5-minute one. I mean, nothing's going to change here. We're just going to lead into doing the 30 seconds of recreating your event from this morning. Then I'm just going to say the same thing. When you're ready, just relax, stop trying to remember, and just be aware and watch what's there now. And we'll just go out to 5 minutes. So if everyone's got time to do that, let's roll into that one. Now, if the mind does get active, that's okay. Activity in the mind can be just stress release. So don't be concerned by that. Just allow thought to come and go. Don't try and think, oh, I shouldn't be thinking, because the moment we get into an argument with ourselves, we're bringing ourselves back up to conscious level of thinking. So we just want to relax into it. And so it's going to be the same as the 2-minute, but we're just going for 5 minutes. All good? All right, don't worry about the time. I'll let you guys know when to open your eyes, bring yourselves back into the room. But let's begin by just simply closing our eyes and recreating the event from this morning. Now just relax, stop trying to remember, just be aware and watch what's there now. When you're ready, just take your time. Slowly open your eyes, bring yourselves back into the room. How we go, Megan?
I always feel release. I feel there's something about doing it in a group that I find more powerful than when I do it by myself. Why is that?
Energy. Even though we're doing it, it's the one thing that I've really found with going online with this is everybody reports the same thing as they would if we were all sitting in the same room together. But when you sit as a group, it seems more powerful. Yeah, especially at the beginning, a new meditator, like you'll consolidate your own energy and as I said, you become a lot within yourself. But as a group, meditating all together, it's a very powerful way to enhance and increase the energy level of meditation.
Anybody else want to share?
I'm apologizing. I'm super duper sick, but I'm here. I wanted to. I've never done this kind.
Oh, Shauna, we lost you. Troy, do you still hear me?
Yes, I've got you.
Shauna, we lost you. We'll wait. Well, you can come back on if you're still there, but if anybody else wants to share your experience, did you feel anything? Did you see anything? Do you find it difficult? Are you struggling in that time? I know that's something I experienced where I was like, to me, it was just a fight. I felt like I was fighting for a long time, and that's okay. And we get hard on ourselves because of those sort of things. Jody says that I feel like I fell deeper into myself, like a wave, was her experience. So if you're struggling or your experience wasn't good, don't be afraid to speak up and share that as well, so that Troy can discuss that, because there are going to be a lot of other people feeling the same thing that are too shy to talk about it. So don't hold back just because you think maybe you didn't have this very enlightened experience.
I'll go.
I am. Oh wait, sorry, I'm back. So did you guys hear me last time at all?
No.
It was quiet, but yeah, we lost you pretty quickly.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I have the flu, like day 6. But anyways, I'm here, and I have a really cool thing. So I lucid dream, and like where I can take control of my dreams and stuff. And that meditation involved me recreating something where there were actually a bunch of people around me, and I was in a public place. And it was really cool because something happened where everything was frozen in time, and I was moving about the experience, but everything was frozen. And there was this calm quietness that I felt, that I could feel, and it was like this subtle silence. And it was just really neat feeling. So I don't know what that was, but it was cool.
And that's good. One thing I will say about meditation is experiences will come and go, but they're no different to thought. Come and go. You know, think now will be gone. It'll come into consciousness. It will go from consciousness. It's the same with experiences within meditation. They come and go. They're not something we try and hang on to. Like, they might be a nice experience, and the worst thing you can do for yourself within those experiences is go, next time I meditate, I want to have that again, because then you're not allowing your own state of meditation to come through. There's an expectation around what that experience you want. I think it's great that you had that experience, and it would have been nice, but my recommendation would be don't hang on to that. Allow it to be what it is, and allow it to go. because what we're actually wanting to do is return to self and allow our own true self, our own true nature to come through in meditation. And that's what Streamline really does. It allows you to meditate on self without using a technique, focus point, or anything like that.
Thank you. Some different comments here. I've heard a couple people say they had their forehead hurt, started hurting. What is that? What's going on there? Kundalini
energy rising up to your higher chakras. So you got your crown chakra and your third eye chakra. That's where Kundalini wants to rise to. So the fact that you're having that in such a short period of time is a great thing. Most people doing meditations aren't experiencing that, and they've been meditating for years. So the fact that you're getting that out of this little 5-minute session that we did, that actually isn't full meditation yet, because you'll get most of your benefits out of meditation in the 10 to 20 minutes of meditating. It's pretty cool that you're getting that already. So that's what that is, but that's why you'll feel that there. You may even feel heat, coldness. It's all about energy. It's all about, as I said at the beginning, we're closing our eyes, we're returning that energy that we're always sending out, we're returning it back in, and then it's starting to rise back up to the higher chakra points. The crown chakra and the third eye is the main ones that it wants to head to. So very highly charged area here.
I saw a question earlier on about where do I focus? Is there do you have a focal point in this area, or do you focus on anything, or how does that work?
Awareness. And I know that a lot of people will talk about focus in meditation. We don't want to focus. We're expanding awareness through consciousness, so we just want to be aware. It's called passive awareness, and it's something that Krishnamurti spoke of, that life was a pathless land. The only recourse to that path was to be passively aware. So be aware of what's going on, and that's all we're doing when we bring meditation, when we bring our awareness within. We're just being passively aware. We're not trying to focus on something. When we focus on something, we're trying to hang on to something, and that's what we're doing when we use a technique of meditation. Streamline meditation is a naturally occurring meditation. We're allowing our own state of being to come through. That state of being that it already exists within us, that is still, quiet and happy. We're allowing that to assert itself more and more. So it's an awareness, it's not a focus. So that's the best way I can describe it, if that's explained it to everybody. We're not trying to focus down on anything, but what we are aware of is meditation takes place within the thought stream.
I know that Jessica had a question. If you want to unmute yourself, Jessica, and share what you want to share your experience.
Yeah, that was me that asked about the focus, and I still, I guess, don't get how you don't think about something. That seems to be my struggle in meditation, is seeing squirrels everywhere and going through all of the different thoughts, and not focusing on something seems to be difficult.
Yep. Have a question for you. At that point when we said just relax, stop trying to remember and just be aware and watch what's there now, what were you aware of?
That there was an elephant standing on my chest, and then I was panicking about what to focus on.
Well, that's the thing. Like it's I mean, I would have to take you through a little bit more to get you to capture it, what you need to capture in this. But what I will say for you is, we're not trying to stop thought. Thought is a natural process of the mind. That's where we create things. Thought is a creative tool. What underpins that creative tool is consciousness, pure consciousness. So that pool of stillness that everything arises from. And thought is the creative tool that we use. So what we think about is what we create. Now, what we're wanting to do is we're just simply wanting our mind to transcend through the layers of thought and come back to that quiet pool, stillness. So, I mean, at the moment, all you've really done is We've done a 30-second exercise, a 2-minute, and then we've extended that out to a 5-minute. It is expected that, at that point, you may not be getting that stillness just yet, but rest assured it is there. And it is just a matter of allowing thought to come and go, because that'll happen in the background. But what you will find, and this is what you find as time goes on with Streamline, is everything that underpins thought, creativity, the outside world, which is consciousness, that stillness is already there. Because it's just we haven't allowed ourselves to return to it. So don't be concerned by thought. Thought is going to be there, but you're going to find there's going to be times where these gaps start to create it within thought, within the thinking process, and you start to see that gap, and that gap will continually expand, and you'll feel more rested. You'll fall into that deep state of rest, and with mind being movement, body manifestation of that movement, then the body then falls into a deep state of rest.
And so on that 5-minute one, I felt that there was just maybe moments of weightlessness, but not very long. So then it is starting, but maybe going longer than 5 minutes, they would dip in to be longer.
Longer, yeah.
Okay.
And the biggest thing that people get hooked up on is thought. Because out in the world today, in the meditation world, they say that you got to stop thinking. Meditation is about focusing down on something and stopping thought. You can't stop thought. We want thought to come and go, but we can transcend beyond that very busy conscious level of thinking and come back to that quieter, more still, rested place of mind. So, and that's already there. It's not something we need to create. We just need to be shown how to transcend away from conscious level of thinking. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay, good, Jessica. I had another question. Someone asked, what's the best time of day to meditate? Morning, night?
Best time is when it fits for you. There's no strict rule. I've meditated in the morning. When I first got up, I've meditated before I've gone to bed. I've meditated in the middle of the day. There was a time where I was meditating in the morning, but then I found that I was busier in the morning where I'd go and do my activities, and then I would meditate at say 10 o'clock in the morning. And then there's other times that there was a time when I was going into the city and catching a train, so I'd meditate on the train. So this is something that you don't need this idyllic place to meditate. It's great to meditate in the same place in the beginning because you consolidate your own energy, but it's something that needs to fit in with your day. At the beginning, yes, you need to make it a priority, because if you don't, you just won't do it. You'll just keep following the same habits that you do every other day of the week. But if you make it a priority, then you will consolidate your own meditation, but then you'll start to find where it fits best for you. So there's no strict rule around that. And if I was to say one thing about Streamline, we don't set rules. It's all about awareness. It's all about expansion. It's all about bringing yourself through, your true self, becoming more of who, even though it's the fundamental bit of you that underpins everything, it's the little self that gets in our way. So we want to actually clear that and allow our true self to be more assertive.
Kelly said that she felt as if she fell asleep for hours, and that was a question I wanted to bring up as well, because we're not getting the full scope here because we're just doing these short things. But for me, especially at the beginning, longer being like 20 minutes, almost start falling asleep, or you feel like your head bob. And you talked around sleep and meditation that I found was really fascinating, because I think we feel bad if we fall asleep, like we're doing something wrong. So can you explain what's going on there?
Yep. What's actually going on, as long as you're sitting up and you're well supported. I mean, we see all these pictures where people have got their fingers together and hands are up and their back's stiff and they're all in this proper position. If you're a new meditator and you're able to hold your body in that position, you're not allowing yourself to transcend. You're keeping yourself on conscious level of thinking, because it's what I was saying before, mind's movement, body's a manifestation of the movement. So if at the beginning you can transcend, pure consciousness is deeper than the deepest point of sleep. So you can transcend to that point as a new meditator. Like Streamline Meditation will show you how to go to there. But you transcend to that point. This is deeper than the deepest point of sleep. You're only going to recognize it as sleep. It's going to feel like you fell asleep. Now, mind moves to that point, well, then the body's going to begin to slump. The head's going to nod. And my recommendation has always been tip your head forward and allow the whole body to slump, because then it allows you to keep drawing into those deeper levels. So, and at that point is when the body can relax to its deepest levels and begin to unwind deep accumulated stress off the nervous system. So you'd never be concerned that you're falling asleep. Everybody will say, oh, I fell asleep. But guaranteed that if we did a 20-minute meditation and you felt like you fell asleep and you drooled on yourself, because that's happened to people, you will still hear me say, when you're ready, open your eyes and bring yourself back into the room. If you were in a deep sleep and I just happened to be standing there and I said, when you're ready, you wouldn't hear me. So that awareness is still there, very subtle, and you're not really aware of the awareness, but you are transcending very, very deep, very quickly. So yeah, you're not falling asleep.
That's something that I think is really cool. One of the things that I've been very fascinated with, because I was always guilty if I fell asleep and realized that it's not such a bad thing after all. But we are at the top of the hour here, so I do want to wrap things up. I'm not sure how much time you have available, Troy, for questions afterwards, but so that the people who need to get going will bring things to a close here. But I do want to offer, because I know, Troy, you do have a program. So people, if anyone's asking like, well, how do I learn this? How do I experience this? And you do offer those group sessions, which I think is the coolest idea. And I love it because, like I said, I feel like the meditations are more powerful when I'm doing it, even though it's on Zoom. We're not like physically, that doesn't matter. I go deeper. It's more powerful. So if somebody wants more of this, if they want to be able to learn more, to get into these group meditations, where do they go? What do they do?
Well, basically, the way the group works, and this is the membership program that we run. It's $79 US a month, and what you get for that is you'll get your full workshop, your 2-session workshop. You get weekly Q&As with Malcolm and myself. So Malcolm's on the Q&As along with me, and we have 20, I believe it's 20 sessions a week available to members, where you can find your time that works for you and join in to group meditations. And we also, within that membership, we also do we do master classes. So our first master class was on intention setting, our first one this year. So how to set intentions deep in consciousness. The one coming up is the power of awareness. So really understanding the power of becoming aware of your thinking process and how you can shift that to a more positive and powerful way to think. So that's our next master class, but it's not a locked in contract or anything like that. And it's really the way I recommend people to learn, because one, there is a community with it. You can learn off each other. You get access to Malcolm and myself 5 days a week. And on top of that, you're getting Q&As. So you're actually getting a very deep understanding of meditation and a naturally occurring meditation, and it really enhances your practice. So I highly recommend that. That's the best way to get involved in Streamline.
Okay, so what I've done, I put a link in the chat on Zoom, and I'm going to get it on Facebook. I'm having some technical difficulties, but as soon as I get off the call, I'm sure I'll be able to get that figured out. But again, there's workshops. You know, if some of us here were like, okay, we'd love to get together and do a workshop, you guys let me know. And like I know that Troy, you do them on request as well, right? So if there's a bunch of people on here, you'd want to go more in depth and you want to do it with people that you know in your community that you're comfortable with, then I'm happy to facilitate that and get that set up and align a time with Troy that works for everybody so that we can go deeper and learn this more and really get that inner calm so that our outer experience reflects that, because that's a beautiful way to live. So I do want to thank Troy very much for being here. Thank all of you for being on this call as well. I'll make sure I get the replay up and going here within the next hour or so everybody can access that. And do reach out to me if you want more connection, more workshops, more information, and I can make that connection for you as well.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. I love teaching meditation, love showing people and talking meditation. So thanks for joining me.
Beautiful. Bye, guys. Have a good night.